What's up, everyone? Stephen Ross. Hope you're all doing well. I know I am. That song I just performed was called Lee's Theme. It's actually the beginning and verse of Lee's Theme, the intro and the verse. And it was off my one and only Shrapnel release called Midnight Drive. There's an interesting backstory I want to share about that song. At the time, I was talking to Ron Thal, because we both lived in the same area. We met at a guitar contest, actually, a Sam Ash guitar contest. I was in Spotlight, and he was asking me some questions. He told me he was working on a demo, and he gave me the demo, and I still have it to this day. It's a great demo, actually. I loved it. And we were talking. I don't remember if this was our first meeting. Then we exchanged numbers. We started talking over the phone. And I asked him, I said, do you know of any good jazz instructors? Because I wanted to learn some standards, go through some standards with a seasoned jazz player. And he told me about this guy, Peter Prisco, that lived in Wayne. It was kind of a ride, about an hour away. But I decided to take a few lessons off of him. And I think it was the second lesson, he gave me this blues progression that was different. It had more chords to it. It wasn't just a 1-4-5. So I thought it was really interesting. He asked me to write a bass line to it, so I took it home and I worked on a bass line. And then suddenly I started getting all these ideas for it. And I started doing some tapping and some different things. And next thing I knew, I had Lee's Theme. I had the verse, and I was pretty excited about it. And I wanted to share it with Peter Prisco. So I wrote a chorus to it and recorded it on my little Tascam 4-track, brought it back to Peter, and I remember he said, wow, I really like it. And he spoke very highly of Ron Thal, so he's like, wow, you remind me of Ron Thal. You guys have similar styles. But so he liked it a lot, and I sent it to Mike Varney. I was sending him a lot of songs at the time because I really wanted to get the Shrapnel CD done. So I kept sending him songs. I sent him Lee's Theme, and he really liked the verse a lot, but he didn't like the chorus that much I had. He said it was a little too dark. It brought him down. So I had to edit it and rewrite it, which I normally did for a lot of my songs, except maybe there were one or two that I didn't have to touch. But usually you'd say, oh, I like that verse, maybe come up with a different chorus. So I would rewrite the song. I rewrote the song. I think of the second draft of it he liked. That was the one you heard on the record. So I'm going to show you the parts I played on this video. There are two parts, the introduction and what I call the verse. The introduction is that part where I'm doing a lot of sweeping and there are a lot of key changes. The verse is pretty much off of the blues progression that Peter Prisco gave me. So I'm going to show you both of those parts, just a little bit about the intro. What inspired that intro actually was John Coltrane's Giant Steps. I was listening to the tune and trying to improvise over it, and I said, wow, this is changing keys all over the place. So it challenged me, and I wrote that intro. And if you try to improvise over that, it's kind of tricky because it's changing keys a lot. So I wrote that section over it, used the whole tone scale, as you can hear afterwards. Both of them. There are two whole tones. I used both of them. And then went into the verse. So I'm going to show you all those parts on the next segment, so stay tuned. I'll be back in a minute. All right, so let's check this out. Let's see what we got here. So I'm going to show you the intro part first. I'm going to break that down into a few sections just to make it a little easier to explain. So the arpeggios we're using in this section are as follows. We have the G minor 7, G minor 7. We have the, this one is a D minor 7. We have an F minor 7, which is used, and an A flat major 7. Those are the sounds. Don't worry too much about the forms. I will do a lesson, an upcoming lesson, going over how to learn arpeggio forms throughout the entire neck, because it does help a lot. It takes time, but I think it pays off because you can play to the chords more effectively and target the notes. But we'll cover that in another lesson. Okay, so let's look at this lick, the intro to Lee's Theme. So we're going to start on the 10th fret, which is a G note. Then we're going to go to the 13th fret, which is the B flat. And those are on the A string. And then we jump to the D string, and we hit the D note, which is at the 12th fret, and the F on the G string. We jump to the next string and hit the F. So we play that as follows. We sweep down, on the G, and then hammer on to the B, all within the sweeping motion, like this. And see, then you're set up, the pick is set up to sweep the next note on the D string, which would be the D in this case, like this. And then you sweep the F. So, a little faster, just like that. Okay, then when we get to the F, we slide down to the E. And now we're in position to play this little D minor 7 arpeggio. Okay? But we're not going to pick it. We're just going to go down legato, like this. Okay? So that the notes on that, we're hitting the 12th fret on the D string, which is a D note. Then we're going to the 10th fret on the D string, which is a C. Then we're jumping to the A string and hitting the 12th fret, which is an A. And then pulling off to the F on the A string at the 8th fret. Okay? So that's the first section. Try to get that down first. Okay? So just practice this part. That's the first piece. Now, I don't pick it. I try to do it legato. You can pick it, but I like how it sounds better legato. The key is you really got to hammer down hard on that D note here to get it to sound. So you got to really hammer down on that. Okay, so that's the first section. Now let's look. When we get to that point, we're going to do the next section. So the next section starts on the 10th fret on the A string. See, we end off here on the 8th fret. So now we're going to, and I'm going to show you two ways to do this. The first way, I'm going to use a stretch, and then I'll show you another way without the stretch. Okay? So we hammer on to the G note, which is the 10th fret, after this part. We actually pick down on it. I'm sorry, we don't hammer it. We pick down on it and hammer on to the 11th fret, which would be the A flat. Okay, and now we're set up to sweep this little A flat major 7 arpeggio here. Right there. It's an A flat major 7 arpeggio. So the notes of that are G, which is the major 7, A flat, the root. Then we jump to the next string, the D string on the 10th fret, and hit the C. And then on the 8th fret, on the G string, we hit the E flat. So okay, now here's that big stretch I told you about. So after this, we hammer on to the D flat, pull off to the A flat, and then end it on the F note, which is on the 8th fret A string. So altogether, that would sound like this. I'm going to do both parts together, and I'll stop after the first part, and then show you the second part. So here we go. First part. Second part. Okay, altogether. Okay, so that's how you can do the second part with the stretch. If you don't want to do the stretch, you could also do it like this. So after the first part, instead of going here, the G, hitting the G with the 3rd finger, you can slide up with the 1st finger and then play the A flat major 7 arpeggio like this. So that would be 10, 11 on the A string, which is G and A flat, and then the C on the 10th fret D string, 13th fret, which is the E flat on the D string. Now we sweep down after this on the 11th fret D string, or D flat, A flat on the A string, or 11th fret, and then F on the E string, 13th fret. So let me show you how to play it using that approach. First part the same. Let me do it a little cleaner. Oops. Like that. Same notes, just a little different way to play it. Now on the record, just for your information, I do it using the stretch. On the video, I didn't use the stretch. Okay, so from that point, we're going to basically, I'll show you what to do after this point. So we got, then we just hit some power chords. F to E flat. Okay, now I'm going to show you the next arpeggio section for the intro. Alright, so let's look at the second part of the intro. So the chords we're using for the second part, B major 7, F minor 7, flat 5, and then basically augmented triads. So we have one off the C sharp, one off the A, one off the A, off the F, and we bring it up a half step, the same form, and go F sharp, D flat, D. Go up a major third to the next inversion, and a major third to the next inversion. And that's the one we arpeggiate. Okay, so those are the chords. Now, the arpeggios we're using over the B major 7 and the F minor 7 flat 5, well, for the B major 7, we're going to start on B, which is the 7th fret, hammer on to the E flat at the 11th fret, E string, sweep down on the F sharp or the G flat, and then which is the G flat, by the way, 9th fret, A string, and then sweep down on the B flat, which is the 8th fret, D string, and then hammer on to the B, which is at the 9th fret, pull back off to the B flat, and then hammer on to the F sharp at the 9th fret, A string, and hammer on to the 11th fret, or the A flat, like this. Okay? Now the way I pick that is I go down, hammer, down, down, up, pull, down, hammer. Try to get that down like that. Okay, so that's the first part, and now from there we're going to pull off to F, and that's going to set us up for the next arpeggio up the F minor 7 flat 5. That chord. So, just like that. Let me show you those notes. So that's F, 8th fret, A string. We got A flat, 11th fret, A string. B, 9th fret, D string, E flat, 8th fret, G string, F, 10th fret, G string, back to E flat, and then to B, like this. So together we got just like that. Now you can practice that section. I find if you can get it about 10 times without messing it up or slopping it up, you're probably ready to perform it live. I messed it up right there. I'm not ready to perform it live. Now I got it. So that's just a rule of thumb that I use. If I can't do a section 10 times without screwing it up, then I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to screw it up when I do it live under pressure and, you know, under the different circumstances. So I recommend 10 times. All right, so when we get to that point, into our augmented triads. Now the augmented triad forms are all the same, so one form gets you everything. It's just a matter of shifting position. So it looks like this. The form is just pretty much second finger here, and then you bar down on these two notes. So we got the C sharp, F, and the A flat, and like that. And all the other ones are exactly the same. They're all the same. Now the way I pick down the augmented triads, I go sweep, sweep, pluck. Like that. One more time, I'll do it slowly. We got. Bring it up a half step. Major third. Major third. And then arpeggiate it. And then just end it by taking the pinky and putting it at the 14th fret on the B string, which will give you a D flat. And a flat. All right, let's try the whole section slowly. Okay, here we go. On to the tapping section. All right, so time to get into the tapping section now. All right, the tapping section is pretty much played over a B flat blues, spiced up a little bit. B flat, this is a rhythm. To the 4, back to the 1. Half step up to B, back, that's just a little embellishment. And then to the 4, now an E diminished. And then B flat, A flat, G, and then C. We go chromatically down to F from G, and then end it with B flat, G, C, F, B flat, with the return. Okay, so that's just. Let's go through the tapping section. Alright, I'm kind of annoyed because I did this video already and I deleted it, so I have to do it again now. Alright, but here we go. So let's talk about the tapping section. The tapping section, slowly, I'm going to break it down into pieces. So the first piece, let's look at this. Okay. And then the second piece would be the, okay, so first piece, second piece. Okay, the first piece is based off of B flat 7, dominant 7 arpeggios. So the first piece, and the second piece is based on the 4 chord, the E flat, dominant 7 arpeggios. So for the first part, we hammer onto the 10th fret, tap 16th, pull off to 13th, tap 18th like this. So we got, okay, second part, hammer onto the 11th B string, tap 18th, pull off to 15th, and then tap 21st, like that. Okay, together, like that. Okay, then from there, let's look at the second piece, okay? So the second piece is based off of, as I said, the 4 arpeggio, E flat minor 7 arpeggio. So we got this. So we just tap, basically, the 18th fret, pull off the 15th, tap 18th, pull off the 13th, tap 18th, pull off to 11th, cross over to the next string, tap 18th, pull off to 14th, tap 18th, pull off to 13th, tap 18th, pull off to 11th, tap 18th, pull off to 18th, down, like this. Kind of like a pedal tone. Kind of like a pedal tone thing, you know. So, all right. So as I said, we got B flat, dominant 7 runs, and then the other one based on E flat, dominant 7 runs. And I promise I'll do a video on these different arpeggios in the near future. Okay, so now we got the first part, the second part, we got our first part, second part, and then okay, third piece. Let's look at that as the third piece. So that's a little tapping sequence there based on B flat, dominant 7, B7, back to B flat, dominant 7. Just using little octave arpeggios like this. Just I'm tapping them out like this. Okay, so I'm going 16, tap, hammer, 15, tap, 18, and then so tap, hammer, tap, hammer, tap, hammer, tap, hammer, tap, hammer, tap, 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 hammer, tap, hammer, tap, hammer. Like that. And then bring it up a half step, and then back down, doing the same sequence. So, okay, and then from there, so we got so far. And then slide up to the 15th, and then down to the 11th. Tap, 15th, like this. I'll do it slowly. Like that, so a little faster. This way. Oh, sorry. Like that, one more time. Slowly. So we slide, remember, down to the 11th. Slide up to the 15th, down to the 11th, tap 15th, pull off to the 11th, pull off to the 9th, and then the 8th. So like, tap, down to here. And then go to this little diminished arpeggio. Like that. And try to get the timing. The timing's a little weird. Like that. Okay, and then when we get there, this part's kind of straightforward. It takes a little practice because you have to hammer on kind of hard, but then we go into this section. Okay, so that's just 5th interval here, starting on the 8th fret, hammer, 10th, and the next string, 10th fret, tap the 12th. Do it twice, then hammer, hammer, leave the tap out. So go down a half step, keep the tap where it is at the 12th fret, do the same thing. Down another half step, do the same thing, and here. Same thing, so the pattern is, then Bend up slowly to the E, from the D to the E. Reverse bend. Another slow bend from the E flat to the F. And then a vibrato, like. Keep the vibrato nice and even. Okay? So that happens right after the tapping part. And finally, after that, we come up here to the B flat, and we're going to spell out a sequence over a B flat dominant 7 arpeggio and a B minor 7 flat 5, and that sequence looks like this. So we go sweep and the B flat, 11th, 13th fret, sweep down, hammer on to the 17th, sweep down to the 15th on the next string, the B string, and sweep down to the 13th on the G string, and then hammer on to the B flat, which is at the 15th fret. So we go down with the sweep, and up, down, pull off, back to the 13th fret, sweep down back to the 15th, sweep down back to the 17th, and then sweep down back to the 13th. So we got. Now practice that pattern, see if you can do this. And then try it faster. See how fast you can get it. If you can do it 10 times, you're ready to go. Okay, and you do the same type of sequence over the B minor 7 flat 5. So that one starts on the 14th fret here. Hammer on to the 17th. Sweep to the 15th. Then come here to the 14th. Up with the sweep. Here on the 16th. Pull off to the 14th. Sweep to the 15th. Sweep to the 17th. And then back to the 14th or the B. Same sweeping sequence as this. And try to practice them together like this. And keep going until you mess it up. See if I can do 10. No, I messed it up. But try to get 10. Usually I can. But I won't waste your time and try to do it again. So 10 times on that. So that's the second. That's pretty much the second to last part of the tapping sequence. And then from there, this is a pretty straightforward part. We just go from 12th fret chromatically up to the 15th. Try to dig into it. And then up a whole step to the 14th fret, same kind of thing. Then bend up from the C to the D. Reverse bend down to the B flat. Okay, one more time. And if you want, use the whammy bar. If you want a real wide vibrato, it's up to you. Alright, so that's pretty much the whole thing. Alright, let me see if I can do it slowly. Alright, so that concludes the lesson. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, hit that subscribe button. I'm thinking about doing tabs for some of these things eventually, once the channel starts picking up a little steam. But until then, practice hard. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you have any comments, questions, drop them in the comments section. And until next time, I will see you soon. Keep ripping.